So anyway, back to the SDS 1911. Oh, before I get to this, I just wanted to show this. I got an order for a Smith & Wesson 2.0 compact for a leather holster, right hand, and I misread the form. I thought it was a Smith & Wesson compact. So I went back to the form and I read it and it said 2.0. I was like, fuck, it's not the right one. The 2.0 is a little longer than the compact. So I end up making it for the compact. So this compact is available. If you have a Smith & Wesson compact, 9mm or 40 caliber, this will be available. Just like the other holster I did and someone got it for a good price. Now when I make a mistake, I put the holsters up for a good price because I just need to move them, okay? So usually this would be like, it's $45, and then if you get leather, it goes up $15. So this is a $60 holster. Okay, if you're interested in an M&P compact right hand inside the waistband holster in leather texture, we're willing to let it go for $45 free shipping, okay? Free shipping, and if you want, you could put the coupon code in, I believe. Yes. Or I'll just give you the coupon discount, okay? So all you got to do is email me at info@armorguardholsters.com, at info@armorguardholsters plural.com, and the first email I get, first come first serve, you'll get a $60 holster for $45, free shipping. Okay, so if you don't know what the M&P compact is, it's this one. It's got the short handle, it's got a chunky slide, great gun, very reliable, and it fits this holster perfectly. Okay, so let me know if anybody wants that. It's a really good price. So the first thing I do when I get a new gun, especially a 1911, because we all know there are an older style guns that are a little bit fussy. The newer style guns are a little bit less fussy. Would I say it's more reliable? I don't know. It depends. If a 1911 is made right, it's just as reliable as any other gun, but it takes longer and more skill to make a 1911 right. Alright? So the chances are this might hiccup before a Glock would, or an M&P, or an HK. Well, like I said, I didn't go to the range yet, so I don't know what it's going to do. But the first thing I do to check it before you go to range, you got to rule things out. Okay? So before you go to the range, before I go to the range, it came with these plastic grips. I know their time period, but I think the gun's too nice for plastic grips. So I put these wooden US grips on here. As you can see, it looks so much better. And this, is it this one? Yeah, this one I had to do some woodwork on it because it came up too high and it was hitting that plunger channel right there. So I cut it, stained it, and put a bevel on it, just like the other side. You can't even tell the difference. Came out really, really well. And you know me, if it don't look right, if it ain't the same, it'll drive me crazy. So the first thing we're going to do is take the mag out. Right now I'm checking it for before I go to the range, so I'm just going to check it out. So make sure it's empty. It don't feel bad for no oil or anything, but it needs to be oiled because I'm going to rule that out. I don't want to just go shoot it, because if it has a hiccup, I'll say, well, maybe it's because I didn't oil it. So then I'm going to say, no, I oiled it, so it's not that. So you do everything you can to it so you can narrow it down quicker if you have a problem. So what I'm going to do is, a lot of people take 1911s apart differently. Some people just pull it back and pull the thing out, but I do it kind of the old school way. Let's get this tag off here. I got this Spyderco knife, which I love. Needs to be sharpened. Anyone knows a good sharpener, someone that can sharpen knives, let me know, because I don't have a fucking clue how to sharpen a knife. And if you don't know how to sharpen a knife, you will fuck up that blade. Okay, so now we know it's clear. We're going to take it apart. I'm going to take it apart the old school way. Cock the hammer, put the safety on. Now I'm going to stand it up, push the plunger in, and we're going to see how smooth this goes. This is a slippery table, so I'm going to put this sponge down. I don't want to be slipping. So it is brand new, might be a little stubborn, and it does have a flat finish, so there's not much slickness for the parts to move around. Let's see what happens. Okay, that came out nice. Oh, the spring came right out. Usually the spring holds on to the guide rod with a new one, and you gotta like take it apart and take it out the other way, because I don't want to pull and stretch the spring. But as you can see, the bushing is at 8 o'clock, and then we're going to swing it to 4 o'clock. Take it. Wow, this comes apart nice, man. It's not fighting me at all. Totally not oiled though. Dry as a bone right there. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is take the safety off, bring it back to the, take the safety off, bring it back to the first notch, line it up. I know you can't see, but you guys know how to take that apart. This. Line it up, push the pimple on the other side with your finger. It raises the slide stop. I'm just going to pull it straight out. Wow, this comes apart great. It's like a Springfield. It just comes apart. It doesn't fight you. Now what I'm going to do is just slide the slide off, slide the frame off the slide. Okay. There is a little oil in there, but it's probably not good oil. It's not good thick oil. It's just, you know, like REM oil. That stuff sucks. So it's kind of sticky. Here's the guide rod, and here's the barrel and the barrel link. So that's going to come straight out the front. And I'll tell you, I've worked in a gun shop for 7 years, and I've seen a lot of Turkish guns come through. And every time I've seen one, I was like, man, this is impressive. This is not a cheap gun. They really put a lot of effort in their guns to make them very nice. So, now what we got to do, I need a rag. Of course, it's not near me, because I'm never prepared. So I got this rag, and I call it a seasoned rag. And I use it for oil only, even to wipe down my holsters. So this rag is always damp with oil, and it's great to wipe down guns. It's kind of like a wow, look at this. It's kind of like a silicone rag, but better, because silicone doesn't have much oil in it or any. It's silicone. So I think this would work better. So I call it a seasoned oil rag. So I don't use it to wipe dirt up or anything. I just do this with it. Spray a little bowl in there. And after time of spraying it over and over, the whole rag gets damp. And then, you know, I wipe the holsters down. It makes them look nice and shiny and rich. And good for, you know, taking pictures of the holsters. The customers love it, and they get that holster and they see it's all nice and clean and shiny. People are visual. Okay, so there wasn't much oil to clean out of it. I'm just giving it a rough wipe down. I'm going to check and see if it was ever fired. So I'm going to rub the breech face. And it was. There's soot on there. Make sure there's soot on there. It was fired. So that means at least you know it was tested. So that kind of gives you a decent feeling. I'm looking at the inside of this slide. I mean, I can't believe this. I mean, even Kimber has some machine marks. Wait a minute, dickhead's going by. He always goes by when I'm making a fucking video. I don't know if you guys can see that. Look at that. There is no swirls in there. Usually, you'll, like this part, you'll see a spin. You know, and it polished nice, but you'll see that spin. And you can't even see that. And in here, where the barrel link locks into, you'll always see a little spin. Absolutely crazy for a gun that was $440. So yeah, there's soot there too. So they put some rounds through it. So all I'm going to do is get it ready for the range. That's what I'm doing, getting it ready. So I'm going to wipe their oil off, because it's been on there forever probably. And when you have oil, especially thick oil, that sits on a gun, it dehydrates. And it turns into like a sticky wax. Now the feed ramp is, oh, that's a nice feed ramp. The feed ramp is on the barrel, which I like, instead of on the frame. No burrs, no sharp edges at all. I've had Colts and Kimbers that the edges on this side and this side were real sharp. So they go the extra mile and bevel everything all the way around to make everything run a little more smooth. See that? It's an underdog company that's competing with the big boys, so they're going to try harder to make the gun as best as they can. Sometimes the big boys get too confident and they rush the guns out of the factory and they end up being not as good. So you can't go by the name brand. I like that it says model 1911 A1 U.S. Army, and it's not crooked, not even a little bit. It's perfectly straight. I've had Colts where the horse was stamped and it's only half a horse. You know. So just look, my point is, it looks like they really take their time when they're building their guns, and that's a big thing with me. That's good to know. Gives you confidence. Haven't shot it yet. So what I'm going to do is oil everything that needs to be oiled. Luga's Extreme Duty Gun Oil is my personal favorite. So what I do is I wipe it down with Ballistol, and I oil everything with this oil. Because this oil has a lot more body to it than Ballistol does. And I don't overdo it, just coat it. So there's one. And then we're going to do the barrel. With thick oil, you don't do the inside of the barrel, okay? Do the little locking lugs. A lot of friction there. Most of the friction on a barrel, especially a barrel that tips up and down, is 3/4 up and from here on. But I oil the whole thing because it just conditions the steel, keeps from rusting. This looks like a high-end Cerakote. That's what it looks like to me. So that's done. Try not to get plastic powder all over it because of the holsters. Now I'm going to put a little drop of oil in where the locking lugs are. I can't believe I remember the terms of this shit. And a little bit of oil in the roof of the slide. Just put my pinky in there. And you're just coating it. You don't want it dripping with oil. That's a no-no. Okay? You just want it. You're treating the metal. You're not freaking drenching it in lubrication. Okay, so I'm going to do the rails, which is extremely important. Now when you use this oil, it's like, I don't know if you guys remember Militech 1. It's in that category. It makes it really, really slick, and it makes the slide glide on the frame. It feels like a Beretta A1 or a Beretta M9. You know, that famous Beretta action. Okay? So anything that rubs, you want to put oil on, but very light. Here's a little guide rod. It's the original kind of guide rod. It's not that extended guide rod. That rubs on the spring. And then this is the cap, guide rod cap, plunger. And you want to put oil on that because that rubs inside the bushing. No, inside, I don't know a term for that. The lower part of the slide, it rubs in and out of there. It rubs up and down inside there. So we want to put oil. Okay? I don't want to overdo it. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on this track because there's oil on that track. And we're going to put this back together. So this way when I go to the range, and if it does have a problem, I can rule out that I oiled it, and it's not because I didn't oil it. Okay? Another thing, the slide stop pin, definitely oil that. Because sometimes that bitch is hard to get out. And if you use good oil like that, it really, really makes a big difference. Okay, now I am going to, it's been a while since I did this, put the slide on top of the frame. And this is a Series 70, so it's easy to put the slide on, it doesn't hit that bump. Now I'm going to look for that barrel link, which I think it's, there it is, it's right there. I'm lining up that barrel link, and hopefully this will get through. When you line up the barrel link, it has to be perfect, or you will not get that through. And I'm blind. That looks, I can see through there, so that should go in. Okay, here's another trick. When it does that, the Don't ever force anything, because all you're going to do is burr it up and screw it up. So, let me see if this will help me. Sometimes you want to stick something in there and it helps line everything up. It's a new gun, so once you get it in and out of there a couple times, it'll get easier. There it goes. Okay, now I'm going to bring this back to the first notch. You'll see it when you're doing it. Here's another mistake people make. The plunger, if it's real stiff, so what I'm doing is I'm going to work the plunger back and forth with my finger so it's not so stiff where I have to push so hard and get the idiot scratch. Okay, that helps a little bit, and I'm going to lift up a little, go here, and snap it in. So, the plunger pushes against the slide stop, and the plunger, when it's new, is kind of dry, and it won't push in. So it makes you have to push real hard to push that plunger in for the slide stop to snap down in place. So work that plunger before you do that. Okay, now we're going to go forward. Safety on, and this should guide itself onto the guide rod, but I need to put this on first. So obviously we know it goes on at 4 o'clock, right? 4 o'clock, then we're going to swing it to 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, far as you can. And I forgot to put the guide rod in. So hey, it's been a while since I did this shit. Now we're good. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, put it in at 4 o'clock, drops down, swinging around at 9 o'clock. The spring should guide itself onto the guide rod. Sorry, interrupted as always. So again, we're going to slide the spring. That's going to automatically line itself up with the plunger, the guide rod. Then we're going to put the plunger on, push the plunger down. We're going to swing this around, okay, the bushing. Here it is, it's on. Okay. Safety off. Check it for function. Check the trigger. Check the trigger reset. That's pretty friggin' impressive for I'm talking about the reset. There's no drag or scratch. I'm letting it out. It's smooth. Look at that right there. So that's really going to help you shoot accurately. You know, if you're bullseye shooting, not self-defense. So far, it looks great, and I can't say nothing about it. It feels great. Now, how it's going to do at the range, who knows? Who knows? I don't really oil the mags. Maybe a little bit with this rag. Just a little bit to help it slide in and out better. But not enough where it's going to be slippery and it's going to make me drop it. So we're going to put the magazine in. We're going to make sure it locks back on an empty mag, which it does. So when it feeds the last round, it will lock back. Bring another mag in. Pull this back and let it go, and it will go forward once you load the magazine if you're new to guns. Alright. Feels great. Super tight, nice and quiet. Doesn't rattle around. Nice trigger. Nice positive thumb safety. I've seen more positive ones, but it's pretty good. Some people get hammer bite, but I don't have like a chunky hand for that to happen. So here's my hand, and let's see what the hammer does. Okay, it's not biting. Now when it recoils, it might, because my hand's like right on the border. So we'll have to see when we shoot it. You don't want to have to adjust your hand because you're getting hammer bite. But I hold it like this, and it's about an eighth of an inch away from my skin, so I don't think I'm going to get hammer bite. But this is a beauty, man. I'm loving it. I love the classic look. So we'll do an update on this. And that's it. that is the STS 1911, Turkish 1911. All I did was upgrade the grips, and they're still, it still looks period correct, because I didn't put no goofy skull grips or anything like that on it. I want to kind of keep this one, you know, period correct, but there's no way I was keeping them cheap plastic ones on there. So this is all ready for the range. Another thing I noticed, the front of the trigger, check that out. I've never seen that before. The front of the trigger, where you put your finger, is textured like orange peel, like even more aggressive than orange peel, like checkering. The front of the trigger, where your finger rests on to shoot, has checkering. I just noticed that. Wow, that's smart. So there's another feature that I didn't know about. So that's it, guys. If you're a Patreon, we will be doing a new cooking video this weekend, because I know people love that, and I know the Patreons love that. And don't forget about Armor Guard holsters. And this holster has a special price because I made it by accident. And don't forget about the email, info@armorguardholsters.com. Okay? And you'll get this for a fantastic price. It's right-handed, it's leather, it's inside the waistband, it's for an M&P compact, not the 2.0, the regular M&P compact. Alright, see you.